What's good, everyone? This is your host, Tarad Rashan, and you are now tuned into Taradcast. For all the brand new listeners out there listening to our show for the very first time, welcome. For all of the returning listeners coming back for another weekly dose of Taradcast epicness, welcome back. Now at Taradcast, you can take everything we say with a grain of salt. We simply just want to add some flavor to your meal. So if we're doing that, then we are doing our job. Today's episode actually comes from a place where over the last few months, I've just been really thinking about mindfulness and just the people that are in my life and the people that I want to be in my life and the people that I'm realizing take up a lot of unnecessary space. So without further ado, today's episode topic is building a village. This is Taradcast. Let's get it. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Taradcast. Again, I am your host, Tarad Rashan, and I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm actually trying to take some of that advice that we received from last week's episode on mastering meditation and just take some time to really just focus in and think about things and just take some time to be mindful of who I am, where I am, and what is currently going on. And so, again, I just want to thank Erica for joining us on last week's show. And I can't wait to have more guests on the show. Finally figuring out all of this Zoom stuff is just really, really good for me. I really am excited about what is about to come. So I hope that you all are too. But today's episode is a episode that it might offend people in a way where when you tell them about, well, or rather show them that they are the kinds of people that may not need to be in your village, it might rub some people the wrong way. And I totally get that. I totally understand. But there have been situations that I have gone through that have really shown me who really needs to be a part of my village. And I want to make sure that my village is filled with people who will challenge me, who will push me to be better, who will not invite unnecessary drama to my life, who will not be looking for things to use against me as ammo when it comes to how we interact and, just different things like that. So we're going to get into all that today. And before we do that, of course, we're going to take care of our handy dandy house-cleeping details. So if you would like to take our show with you on the go, just know that we are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Podchaser, Castbox, Podcast Addict, iHeartRadio, Deezer, and YouTube. Taradcast is also on Throne. Throne is a free live messaging application that allows us here at Taradcast to exclusively reach our listeners. Make sure to sign up if you'd like to keep the conversations going after the episode. If you're looking for natural oils for ultimate hydration and care for your hair and skin, hit up The Resilient Lotus at www.theresilientlotus.com. And last but not least, if you are a lover of authentic chunky salsas and homemade tacos, make sure to reach out to Morenita's Salsitas here in Oklahoma City. As always, all this information will be in our episode notes. All right, so when it comes to building a village, the first thing you have to realize is who you are. You really have to take into consideration who you are as a person. What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? We only have one life to live, and when it comes to that life, we need to make it as fulfilling as possible. Of course, there are going to be things that happen to us and things that happen to people that we love. And there are going to be a lot of things that we cannot control. And so one of the things that we can control is the network of people that come into our lives and the people that we decide to give value to, the people that we look at and we see them not just as a person that we know, but as someone who has importance when it comes to how we are navigating our life. And hopefully we also have something that we can add to those people's lives as well. And so just thinking about that exchange, that exchange that will continue to give you those blessings and give you those opportunities to grow and to be challenged. Those are the people that really need to be a part of your life and your circle. And, a lot of people like to talk about your circle being as small as a dot. And I get it. There's a lot of people out here who are not necessarily looking out for your best interest. And so a lot of people claim that their circle is small. But one of the things that we also have to keep in mind is that the quality of person in your circle is what matters, as opposed to the actual size of the circle itself. Because if you have a lot of people in your very small circle who do nothing but bring drama to your life, it's not really going to matter how small your circle is. I've run into people in my lifetime where they can smile in your face, but they are looking you up and down and they're sizing you up just in case you piss them off. And if that moment happens, they're not going to respond to you out of love. They're not going to respond to you with a heart that wants to rectify a situation or make it better. They're going to unleash all of this ammo against you in order to put you in your place, I guess, for the lack of a better word. And I've run into a lot of people like that. A lot of people who have claimed that they have good friends or that they have best friends, but the moment that they do something that they don't like, they just totally rip them a new one. It's crazy. I've seen the drama, I've heard the drama, and it's one of those things that really makes you question the authenticity of that person. It makes you question their heart. And so that's one of the things that I realize. It's a lot of people are either waiting to use things against you, or if you do something wrong or if you do something that they don't like, they can't wait to tell any and everyone about what it is that you did, as opposed to actually coming directly to you. And that's one of the things that I've realized in this life with people that I've met, people I've come across, people that I have had the opportunity to interact with. I've seen it happen where the people in their circle, all they do is talk about drama. And for me, I'm one of those people that I don't necessarily like to just continuously engage in drama. I don't like to sit and talk about it. I don't necessarily care about what other people are doing unless it directly pertains to the relationship I have with you, because I want to be able to fix that situation, or I want to be able to handle that situation. And so empty conversations that stem around drama are not conversations that I want to have. And so if a lot of people just go through life and that's all that they talk about, then I can't necessarily say that I want those people to be a part of the village that I'm building, because it's not going to serve me. I have to think about the things that actually will serve me and will allow me to be better. And so when it comes to those types of people, you really have to understand that unfortunately you may have to cut them out, because at some point you may do something that they don't like, and instead of actually coming to you, they will go to every single other person instead of you when it comes to fixing the issue or addressing the issue in general. And so when it comes to people like that, I don't necessarily recommend having people like that in your village, because they're not going to provide anything useful. They're not going to provide anything that allows you to grow, because they are going to be the ones who will be looking specifically for if and when you mess up. And one of the things that I really appreciate about the people in my life is that if I'm doing some BS, they call me out on it. They don't go to everyone else to tell everyone else about the BS that I did or that I was a part of. They come directly to me. And I highly, highly respect that, because how am I going to grow as a person if I don't get called out on my wrongs? And so when it comes to doing the same thing for others, that's how I approach those types of situations. I want to be able to be a person that if something is happening that I don't necessarily agree with or like, whether we agree or disagree, I want to be able to come directly to you. I want to be able to address that issue with you specifically and work on a solution together, because at the end of the day, all that I want to do is grow, and all that I want to do for others is be a part of their growth as well. And so it doesn't require me going to other outside sources to discuss personal issues, as opposed to going to the source to discuss personal issues. And so understanding just that component of relationships in general, it's going to give you the tools needed and necessary to begin filtering through the people that you have in your life. And that's the main thing. That is the main thing when it comes to building a village. Just knowing how to filter through the people that will actually benefit you, and you in turn benefiting them. And it becomes this perpetual cycle of positive exchange in all situations and scenarios, be it good or bad. You gain the opportunity to have people around you that want to see you ultimately succeed, and they're not praying for your downfall. They're not praying for you to mess up, so that way they can just unleash all of this dirt to the entire world and to just trash your image and trash who you are and all of that. And I seriously just want to just implore that you really need to look at the people who are around you. Look at their characteristics, look at their behavior, look at their traits, look at what they say about other people when things don't necessarily go their way. Really take some time to observe that, because when you do, just put yourself in the position of the person that they are attacking. Do you want to be on the other side of that? Do you want to be that person's target? Because if that were to ever happen, then that's the exact same thing that's going to happen to you, unfortunately. And in realizing this, I really had to take some time just to focus in on the people who have the traits that allow me to not only reevaluate myself and be more introspective with myself, but will also allow me the opportunity to try and make things right. Those are the people that, for me, are the most beneficial when it comes to how I want my village to be built. Because there's a lot of people here in this world. There's well over 6 billion, probably towering close to about 7 billion now, that there's a lot of people in this world that exist. And where we are, it's in no way, shape, or form the entire world. It doesn't matter where you live. That place is not your world. And so when you think about the fact that the world is so big, and that there's so many people in this world, you have more of an opportunity to just be open to the fact that there are people out here who have lived completely different and separate lives apart from yours. And they have a completely different set of experiences than yours. And their perspective, their worldview just might give you things and tools and components that you may have never like really thought about incorporating into your life or thinking about just in general. And those are the things that for me tend to be the most beneficial when it comes to the people that I want to be surrounded by, the people that I want my village to include. Because just thinking about that simple fact there, the fact that we are so diverse as people, the fact that we live such different lives, but we have things that will, whether you know it or not, help the next person. Those are the things that for me, I want to be able to incorporate when it comes to building my village. And I want my village to be able to thrive and to benefit from my contribution and also the contribution of others that are a part of that village. I talked about this briefly in the Big Rich Town episode when it comes to the people that can actually come together and build something that will benefit everyone. The fact that it does take work, it does take time, it takes effort. And just thinking about that, realizing that there are going to be people out here who are willing to put in the work for you. And in turn, you are willing to put in the work for them in order to cultivate a relationship that will continue to benefit and bless you for decades to come, as long as you're alive. Those are the types of people that you really want to keep around. Those are the people that are going to make sure that you are doing everything that you signed up to do. And you are going to do the same for them. It's going to be natural. It's not going to be forced, but it's going to be mutual. And you are all going to be able to benefit from one another. And that's what really needs to be looked at. That's what really needs to be focused on when it comes to building a village. And so right now we're going to get ready and take our first break. And when we come back, we're just going to continue expanding on this topic because I feel like it's one that really needs to be talked about because, again, with social media and followers and things like that, there are a lot of people who are out here playing a numbers game. And just because you have a lot of people who are playing a numbers game, it doesn't mean that the more people that you have, the better off that you are going to be. So I hope that you all have your water close by or your wine, whatever you are sipping on right now. Make sure you have it close by. Take a sip and we will be right back. This is Taradcast. Yo, what's good, everyone? This is your host of Taradcast, Tarad Rashan, and I just want to welcome you to the commercial break. Now, you already know what time it is. It's hydration time. Get some high-quality H2O in your system now. Got a few things I'd like to go over. First, to all of our new and returning listeners, thank you so much for your ear and your time. To all of our Patreon supporters, I just want you to know that we are not able to do this without your direct support. So the biggest, dopest Taradcast thank you goes out to you. If you're listening in and you're thinking about becoming part of the Taradcast Patreon family, we'd love to have you. You can find us at www.patreon.com/Taradcast. Now on Patreon, we have 3 tiers of support. A $2 tier, a $3 tier, and lastly, a $6 tier. Each tier comes with its own set of unique perks. So if you find one that fits you, sign up. For For us, the main thing is keeping our subscription prices affordable. We know that you work hard for your money, and if you choose to support Taradcast this way, we truly want to make it worth your time. To find out more about our Patreon and the perks with each tier, visit www.patreon.com/Taradcast. We've got it all laid out for you. Also, we've got a merchandise store. Pick up some tees, hoodies, leggings, and more at forevercertain.redbubble.com. All proceeds go right back into the Taradcast podcast and allow us to keep making high quality content for people just like you. For our listeners out there who would like to support us in a non-monetary way, we'd love that too. Share our show with people you know. Also, share us on your social media. And if your favorite Taradcast streaming service allows you to rate and review our show and you're loving what you're hearing, take some time and leave us a 5-star review. Ratings and reviews are what set us apart from other podcasts and also helps us to recommend our podcast to other listeners we otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to reach. Lastly, if you'd like to reach out to us directly, email us at taradcast@CRTN-T.com. That's taradcast@CRTN-T.com. All of this information can always be found in our episode notes, so make sure to check there if you forget any of the information we just went over. Once again, thank you all so much, and let's get back to the program. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Taradcast. I hope that you all were able to get hydrated during the break. And we are now going to continue with our topic of building a village. So when I left off on the commercial break, I talked about the fact that a lot of people think about the numbers when it comes to building their village. And I know I touched on it just a little bit before, but your village doesn't have to start big. If anything, it starts ridiculously small, because the first person in your village is you. And so you really have to know who you are. You really have to know what you will accept and what you will not accept. You have to know what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate. But you also have to be open to the fact that there may be some things that you have not yet learned or considered. And so when it comes to deciding who will be a part of your village, you also have to keep that open mind. You have to keep yourself open as a person, because there may be some perspectives out there that, yes, you may not have yet considered. And in doing so, you will be adding to yourself as opposed to subtracting from yourself. And in that process, that gives way to growth. It gives way for opportunities to consider so many different things that maybe you didn't think about when it comes to life. And if anything, that's one of the biggest components of starting and building your village, is just knowing that oftentimes, yes, it will start small, but as you begin to really start taking a closer and a deeper look into the people that you encounter, you will begin to realize who it is that really needs to be a part of your village. And sometimes, and this is one of the things I've learned in the last couple of months, but it doesn't matter how long you've known a person. You can know them for 20 years, you can know them for 20 minutes, but when it comes to what it is that they are showing you, when it comes to them opening their heart and their soul to you and being completely transparent and open and honest with you, it doesn't matter how long you've known a person. That person, when you really see them for who they are, that person is going to show you everything that needs to be shown in order for you to make the decision of whether or not to have them in your village. And for me, my 30th year on this earth, that has been one of the biggest life lessons for me specifically, because I've met random people playing Pokemon Go. I've met random people just in my workplace. I've met random people when it comes to just visiting with others. And I've realized that there are people out here that I didn't even expect to have an impact on me the way that they did. And I am forever thankful that they had this impact on me, because now when I see them, when I look at them, I understand the value that they bring. I understand the person that they are. And because of that understanding, I want them to be a part of my village. And thankfully, they are a part of my village. I know that I can go to those people with those unique characteristics and traits, all their own, with those unique life experiences that are all their own. I know I can go to them for a perspective that will be completely theirs, and they will be able to see a situation from their side, from the outside looking in, from a place that I may not have thought about. And those things are what keep me going. They keep me honest. Because in someone's story, and this is true for all of us at some point or another, in someone's story, you will be the villain. You will be the villain. I have been the villain in someone's story. And you know what? I have to own up to that. I have to own that fact, because I am not exempt from doing wrong. I'm not. But when it comes to the people that I trust with the honesty of a situation, I look at them and I know that when it comes to their perspective, they will see it from not just my side, but they will see it from all sides, including their sides. They will not hesitate to put themselves in my shoes and outside of my shoes in order to see a situation from a global perspective. And that is what I need for me personally, when it comes to building my village. There's a lot of people out here who are yes men, yes women, and it doesn't matter what you've done, they will always take your side. And sometimes that can be a good thing, but oftentimes it's not. Because at that point, do they really think for themselves, or are they just here to hype you up and make you think that you can do no wrong? And so when it comes to people like that, I realize that those people are not going to be the most beneficial people in my life. And I feel like I need people that are not afraid to call me out on my BS, but I also need people who are willing and open enough to understand that not every issue is one-sided. Not every issue has a clear hero or villain. And in doing so, realizing that, recognizing that, you allow yourself to be open to the fact that, you know what? I may have been wrong. And that's another one of the things that I've just learned in my adult life. I'm not always right. Back when I wasn't who I am now, you know, no one could tell me that what I did or what I said was wrong in any way. And I remember having a conversation just within the last couple of weeks with a really good friend of mine who was like, you know, when I knew you back then, I wanted to fight you because the stuff you were saying, it was yes, it was BS, but at that point in my life, I actually reminded that person of who they used to be. And so in coming out of that transition, you know, they were just like, I am so glad that you actually found your way out of that mindset and found your way out of that thinking. And for me, that is information that really, really showed me that where I was going, or where I am going in my life, is in the right direction. And I wish that person would have came to me earlier. They were like, I wanted to fight you back then. I wish they would have fought me. I really do. Because, back then when I was a knucklehead, and not a knucklehead in the sense of just, out here doing a whole bunch of crazy things, but just for the fact that I thought that I was better than everyone else because of my religious beliefs and the fact that I had not near as much life experience that other people did, and I was downplaying and just trashing other people just for living life. I wish that person would have come to me earlier, but at the same time, I'm glad that I can go to that person now and they can still be completely honest with me. And I love that. And they hold nothing back. And these are the kind of people where I'm not afraid to be like, I love you. Because you are showing me sides that I didn't think about, and that's what I need. You are who I need in my life to keep me accountable, to hold me accountable, because I'm not always going to get everything right. But when it comes to building my village, you are in it. And I want you to know that you are in it. And I hope that you would be able to trust me to do the same for you. Because when it comes to this life, life is short, and relationships that we have with people, we really need to understand that not every relationship is going to be good for you. And you have to take time to be mindful of the people that you allow into your life. You really do. Because when it comes to building this village, the people who are here are going to be the ones who carry on the legacy of that village long after you're gone, including your children, if you have kids, including those young people that you reach out. I sound old as hell right now. I'm only 30 talking about young people. But at the same time, those are going to be the people whose ideals are going to allow your village to continue flourishing. And so you really, really, really have to keep that in mind. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. So after our next break, we're just going to wrap all this up. We're going to wrap it up, and that'll be our episode. So make sure you still have your water or your wine close by, and make sure that it is still plentiful. Take another sip, and we will be right back. This is Taradcast. All right, everyone, welcome back from the break. Again, this is Tarad Rashan, your host of the Taradcast podcast. And lastly, in this last episode, or not last episode, but in this last segment of the episode, we're going to talk about just some of the things needed to observe when it comes to building your village. So just in doing this, yes, it's going to take a lot of work, and you're going to realize that not everybody that you know is going to be a part of the village that you're building. This includes family. This includes close friends. I mean, the people that you think should be the closest to you. Some of those people may not have a space in the village that you are building. And so one of the things to consider is, when it comes to this person, how do they make you feel? When it comes to their interaction with you, how do they make you feel? Do they give you feelings that allow you to grow? Do they give you a sense of camaraderie when it comes to who you are and what you're doing? Do they support you 100%? When things hit the fan, are they coming directly to you to make sure that you are okay? Are they busting down your door to check on you? Or are they sitting back and observing you in your breakdown and talking to other people about what's going on and not coming to you? You know, how do they make you feel? What do they make you feel? And another thing to think about is, do they take criticism? Do they take criticism well? Constructively. Constructive criticism, I should say. If you observe something in them that you may realize is out of character and you approach them, do they attack you? Do they deny that this is what's going on? Do they shut down when addressed about certain things that are not right, that you point out? Do they listen to you with a heart of love and with a heart of understanding? Are they able to be emotionally open and available to you? And are you emotionally available and open with them? Can you tell your deepest, darkest secrets to them? And can they do the same without any fear of this information being used against you or told to anyone else? Can you recognize the value of this person when you interact with them? What does their energy feel like? Like really think about that. What does their energy feel like? Can you talk to that person and put your phone face down? Can you talk to this person for hours and hours and hours on end and just share every piece of your life with them, and they do the same, and they're not checking your phone? I even hate that I have to say that, because nowadays we're all on our phones, or we're all, we're all trained to pick up our phone whenever we have notifications pop up. But is there going to be someone out here in your life that will deny the constant allure of notifications in their phone to focus directly on you? Really think about that. Are there going to be people out here that will prioritize you and that will allow you to prioritize them for mutually beneficial reasons? Just things like this. Things like this are going to be what really helps you to build your village of people. Will you be able to call upon that person at any time and they run to you? And will you do the same for them? Like, a lot of people call this ride or die, and I get it, but like it's so deep. The relationship is so deep. The love is so deep. When you talk to this person and you're hurting, do they hurt as if it were their own? Like, that is one of the biggest things ever that you could ever think about. Like being so empathetic to the point where someone else's pain that you care about so much becomes your own, and you hurt right along with them. Can you actually look at a person and know that that is who they are? Because if you can, then that is someone that belongs in the village that you're building. All of these things are characteristics and traits that go way beyond the surface level section of the kiddie pool. We're in the 20-foot section, where if you jump in, you're sinking for a little bit. But those are going to be the people right down there with you, swimming, pulling you out if you need to be pulled out, giving you their oxygen mask if you need it. Those are going to be the people who will continue to have that quality and that longevity when it comes to the people that need to be in your life. This is really not a game at all. And that's one of the things that I have learned. It's probably right now the biggest lesson I've learned in 2020 is the fact that there are people that deserve to be in your life because of who they are, because of what they want to give freely, and that allow you to be open to giving that of yourself to them freely. And so for all of my listeners out here today, my challenge to you right here, right now, is to really take time to evaluate who is in your life and really take time to understand whether or not, with everything that's been said today, whether or not they need to be in your village. So with that being said, you guys, I really hope that this episode gives you an opportunity to just be more mindful of the people that are in your life. We really have to understand that not everyone has our best interests at heart. And not everyone wants to see you grow, or not everybody wants you to succeed or grow at a rate that's faster than their success and growth. And that is completely toxic. That does not belong in your village at all. So definitely take some time to really focus in on that. Not to think about the surface level characteristics of a person, but the parts of a person that when things are at their worst, how do they respond to you? How do you respond to them? Because that is what's truly going to carry you forward when it comes to building your village. So y'all, that's our show. I hope that this episode gives you an opportunity to just think about things. That's all we want to do. We just want to add some flavor to the meal. Take everything with a grain of salt. You already know how we do over here at Taradcast, but you all know how to find us. You all know how to support us. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting platform and take our conversation to the throne room. As always, everything will be in our show notes. But wherever you are, whomever you are, I want to always encourage you to be more introspective and vulnerable with yourself. Know who you are, trust in who you are, love who you are. And that also goes for the people that you are going to allow into your village. Know them, trust them, love them too, because they will do the same if it's real. But again, y'all, I just want to thank you all so much for listening and continuing to listen to Taradcast. I can't do this without you. I can't. There's no way. So from the deepest, darkest, most genuine part of my heart, thank you for listening. And with that being said, y'all, make every effort to find and keep your peace. Till next time.